They even had sex in our bed, the one I had worked so hard to make perfect. Back in 2012, 2014, I was married to a real man-child. We met online in a video game when I was 20, and he was 28. We got engaged very quickly because he lived in Canada, and being together meant we had to figure out a way for him to immigrate. After researching all the options, the circumstances lined up so that marriage was the only realistic solution. Even though we married quickly, I was fully committed, ride or die. I should note that I was young and, frankly, naive when it came to relationships. I was socially awkward, physically unattractive, and struggled with several undiagnosed mental health issues at the time, which made me especially susceptible to any kind of male attention. From the very beginning, our relationship was extremely toxic. On the trip where he proposed to me, I discovered his computer password was another girl's name. I should have left then, but I was in love. Over the years, he had several emotional affairs, some online, and one with a friend back in Ontario where they even planned to meet. But I believed in our marriage and thought he was my soulmate. So I stayed. By 2014, we had been married for a little over 2 years and had moved to a large city. I was finally starting to get my life together. We were both working full-time, low-wage jobs. But I had become obsessed with learning personal finance and had a plan to dig us out of debt. I was back in college, working toward a degree to build a career. I was medicated and actively working on my mental health. I finally started seeing a little light after so many dark years when I thought I might never make it. He, on the other hand, took a few college courses here and there, but was not dedicated. He was extremely lazy, only doing the bare minimum, and spent all his free time playing video games. I don't have anything against gaming, but this man had logged over 3,000 hours in just one game, not counting anything else. It was a problem. Being a control freak and having a passion for finance, I naturally took over our finances. I made sure bills were paid, debts were being addressed, insurance was up to date, and everything else in order. Even though we were both on all accounts because we were married, I had all the logins and managed everything. This becomes important later. Then, in fall 2014, I found out he was cheating. Thoroughly. He met a girl at work. He was a dishwasher at a chain restaurant. And they started an affair. I found the messages on his computer. Normally, he would break phones or hide things when I got suspicious. But this time, I wasn't even trying to snoop. He left Facebook open while he was asleep, and the messenger notifications were going off. I read everything. How much he hated me. How horrible I was. How he missed her body. How he wanted to have a baby with her. I also found out they had sex in our bed. The one I had worked so hard to make perfect. It felt like a slap in the face. I confronted him immediately, and he admitted it. When I asked what we should do, I still didn't want to break up. He said we should probably get a divorce. That was it. At the time, we were still living together in an apartment and shared our one car, so we couldn't physically separate. I went through all the stages of grief, flip-flopping between anger and acceptance. Half the time, we were amicable, so I got to know the girl. She was 18, living with her parents, with no car. I still remember him telling me, grinning, about meeting her dad for the first time. I laughed hysterically as I asked him, "Does he know you're 31? No. Does he know you're a dishwasher? No. Does he know you're married? No. What a prize. He even had the audacity to ask me for a ride to her house. I had full control of the car, and he couldn't demand anything. It wasn't always amicable. Anger returned regularly. During one such period, I wasn't speaking to him. I was mourning fully, crying constantly and filled with rage. One day, he blew up my phone with calls and messages. I didn't answer, so he showed up at my work. I was livid and barely kept my composure while yelling at him to leave. He begged to just talk and eventually left. The next day, I received an email from our car insurance provider with updated premiums. Confused, I logged in and discovered a new car had been added to our policy. I called the insurance company and learned he had added it himself. He was a full policyholder and had every right to do so. I called him immediately, furious. He claimed he had tried to talk to me about it. He had bought a car and was required to insure it. But he couldn't go with another company because he was already insured through ours. I asked how he even got a loan for a car since he made so little money and had only been at the job for a short time. His co-signer? His new girlfriend. Apparently, the 18-year-old was old news to him. What kind of idiot co-signs a car loan for a new married boyfriend? I was beside myself with rage. That car raised our premiums, and there was no way I was going to pay extra. I saw an opportunity for petty revenge. I logged into our insurance portal and changed the coverages. I dropped every single coverage for his car. I left the car on the policy only because it saved me money through multi-car discounts. But it had no collision, no comprehensive, nothing. He was not notified, as I was still the contact on the account. This is where karma came in. 5 days after I'd changed the coverages, he was in a car accident. An uninsured motorist hit him, and the car was totaled. His $13,000 car. He now had no car, but the loan remained, and his girlfriend was still on the hook as co-signer. I'll be honest, after laughing at the ridiculousness of the situation, I felt really bad. I called the insurance company, crying, begging them to cover it, saying I'd made a mistake. No luck. A week or two later, he actually told me he forgave me, saying he deserved it for cheating. I still felt bad, but it helped. There were more betrayals and lies before we finalized the divorce, but eventually I got out and moved on. He later married the same girl. A few years later, she reached out to me, asking about our marriage, because she was experiencing the same cheating behavior. I was honest with her and gave her all the information she asked for, advising her to leave. Apparently, she didn't take my advice because they had a baby together a couple years later. I now live a life where I don't purposefully hurt people I love or who have wronged me. I focus on being the best person I can. I'm far from perfect, but I'm proud of who I've become. After several toxic relationships over the past decade, I found a man, or maybe he found me, who is amazing. We treat each other with kindness and respect, and show our love every day. Still, whenever I look back at the whole situation, I can't help but chuckle at the absurd irony. I've never seen a better example of karma in my life.